Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. Today I'm going to do an announcement that is very exciting because this time last year I did a readathon called the Springathon together with Emma from A Couple Books and Juliana from The Blank Garden, and it was something I had wanted to do for a long time, a readathon specifically encouraging you to read more nature writing. I was very happy about the response that the readathon had last year. There was a lot of enthusiasm around it and video making and posts related to the Instagram challenge, so today, basically, I'm here to tell you that it's coming back. We're doing the second round of Springathon this year, and we're also joined with 2 new hosts as well. So I'm very excited about it, and let's go through some of the information you need for this year's Springathon. So first of all, Springathon, as I mentioned kind of before, is a readathon where you are encouraged to read nature writing. It can be fiction or nonfiction. We are pretty much open to any form of nature writing, but the one challenge for the Springathon as a whole is to read one nature nonfiction book. You don't necessarily need to finish it. So last year, for example, I actually didn't finish any books, I don't think, during the Springathon period, but I was reading actively nature nonfiction and some fiction as well. So that is the sort of the main challenge of the Springathon, is to read one nature nonfiction book. Of course, nature nonfiction is a very wide genre, so there's a lot of subgenres and subtopics that you could choose to read about. So that is the main challenge, as I said. But we also have created prompts for the Springathon, much like last year, to encourage you to inspire you when you are making your own TBR. They're optional, so use them if you want to or not, and they're very much open for interpretation, so you decide what they mean to you. So I'll go through the prompts in a little bit. So the Springathon this year will be hosted by Emma from A Couple Books and myself like last year, and we're also joined by Juliana from The Blank Garden, who will be blogging about the Springathon, and she will also help me out with the Instagram challenge that will be running alongside the Springathon course. This year we're also joined by the 2 people behind the Book Naturalists. So we have Doris from All the Books and Heidi from My Reading Life joining us in this round of the Springathon. They also have a big love for nature writing, and their book club, the Book Naturalists, focuses specifically on nature writing as well. So I will link all of the hosts' information below, so you can check them out and see their announcement videos as well. The dates of the Springathon this year is from May 1st on a Saturday until May 14th on a Friday. So it's a 2-week duration of a readathon. Obviously you can decide to just extend it to the entire month, as I'm sure a lot of people did last year. This year there's also going to be a group read. So in connection, because we are joined by the Book Naturalists hosts, we're also going to include a group read for the readathon, which will be The Way Through the Woods, I think. The Way Through the Woods by Litt Woon, which is a translated nonfiction book about a woman who loses her partner, I think, and finds comfort in connecting with nature. I think there is a particular interest in fungi specifically that she finds that draws her curiosity. And so it's one of those books that I've had my eye on anyway, so I'm really happy that we're going to have that overlap with the Book Naturalists. So that is going to be a group read for the Springathon for the duration of those 2 weeks, if you would like to join us. As I mentioned before, last year we did an Instagram challenge to go alongside the Springathon, and that will also be happening this year. I will be announcing the Instagram challenge with all of the photo a day challenges a little bit closer to the date, so stay tuned for that on Instagram. I will link my Instagram account below, as well as Juliana's account. So this year for the prompts, we decided to take inspiration from Nonfiction November and to have prompt pairings or word pairings. So it's basically 4 pairs of prompts, and you could either try to use all of the prompts or use one of the prompts in the pairings, or to find books that you can use several prompts for just one single book, which I'm sure is very much doable. So hopefully you will find inspiration from using these. So the first pairing we have is migration and home. So of course this pairing relates to movement or to place, and we wanted a lot of the prompts to reflect sort of spring related things. So migration, obviously with bird migration, is an easy one to connect with, but it could be travel related things. It could be just the physical act of moving. In terms of home, of course, it could mean a place, a specific location. It could be even something like a nest, if you want to go in terms of related to animals, for example. Or it could just mean some place that the person or the character considers a home. The next prompt pairing is bloom and decay. The prompt words sort of work as opposites in a way. So bloom, of course, it is very much, you could use things of a more direct sense, like flowers and plants and that kind of thing, or even something like gardening could be a way to deal with the prompt bloom. It could also be something like a coming of age story, the fact that a character is blooming. The decay prompt, of course, is similarly, you can either have that reflect, for example, autumn or winter when nature is decaying, or it could be something related to fungi, for example, who are very much central to the decaying process in nature. It could, of course, also be something more symbolic, like death. In general, the next prompt pairing I have is forage and hibernate. So forage, of course, is pretty self-explanatory, anything related to foraging or the gathering of things. So of course, in this sense, it's easy to connect it with the foraging of mushrooms, for example, or other plants and edible things you can find in nature, or fruit. So I'm thinking especially in regard to sort of food related writing. It could also be the foraging of something else, like foraging of knowledge. Hibernate could be something like a person or an animal going into hibernation, either physically or mentally or sort of symbolically. It could mean something like rest, for example, or a rest or a hibernation period. The last prompt pairing we have is buzz and stillness. So this pairing to me is specifically the first thing I connect them with is sound. But of course, this again could be used for things like life or the lack of life, and movement or the lack of movement. So buzz, we have the easy connection with things like insects and bees and butterflies and those kinds of things that comes out in connection with spring. It could mean buzzy things going on, a messy or a noisy place. And stillness, again, could be either something sort of meditative, it could be something like a river or a sea, or a place that you connect with stillness, a activity that is that requires stillness, or it could just mean the lack of noise, the lack of movement, the physical state of standing still. That was, I think, all I wanted to say for this Springathon announcement. I hope you're excited for this second round and that you will be joining us in reading all things nature in the first 2 weeks of May. I am so looking forward to it, and I'm already planning some ideas for my TBR. In the coming weeks, I'm hopefully going to be doing some recommendations videos related to the Springathon, as I'm sure my hosts will as well. So stay tuned for that, and I think that was all I wanted to say. I hope you're doing well, you're taking care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon.